So my phone died. Excuse the crustiness. Just got up. Yeah, as I was saying, like I think the sheer volume of my discography discourages people just because it's so much. It's so much music. And I for like the average person, I've ran into multiple people who were like, I've listened to your entire discography. Like, I love all the shit you make. Like, you're incredible. I've heard that from at least over 40 to 50 people. So, I think if you want it, or if you like what I'm doing, I think you just like what I'm doing. And that's cool. But then I also get this complaint from people who barely listen to my stuff, or they're just like it's always a certain kind of person, and they're just like, oh, it's just so much. Just pick one. Go to the top five. You know, go to the top five. Go to the ones with the most views. Just listen to those. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that hard. Just click one. Pick one. You know. And if you don't like that one, try another one. But if you don't want to do that, that's entirely fine. You know, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to care. You don't have to listen to shit. You don't gotta click anything. You know, it's not your job to care if you don't care. As an artist, I have to make you care with the stuff I put out, like the cover arts I create, like from the cover arts I create to the way how I name my tracks, to the types of production I produce, to the types of beats I make, from the arrangements to how I'm doing the vocals to just the fresh ideas, or from me just being me, you know, like whatever it is that caught you, you know, whether if it's a picture I posted, I don't know, just being associated with somebody, whatever it was, that's the thing that brings you in. And that's the thing that makes you care. And if you care, you care. And if you don't, you don't. And you don't have to care. You don't need to care. I don't need you to care. But I have to make you care. But that's only if you want to care. If you don't want to care, you just don't want to care. And that's fine. That's 100% fine. I think trying to force it, like, be like, oh, why is nobody listening to my shit? Like, that's stupid. It's a losing battle. It's a battle that no artist should be even thinking about. It's it's stupid. It's really stupid. But back to my main point, uh I I'm using Kunai Chrome as a just an outlet, just a way to express myself, a way to get away from the rules, a way to get away from what's expected. And I do this because I just simply love it. It's my passion. It's something I just love to do. It's within me, you know, like people who act like this isn't as serious as uh like a job, or this isn't like worth me giving my time to, that's not someone I want to be around. You know, I want to, that's why I want to make this into a career so bad. Not to validate myself within those people, but so I can give my time and energy into doing this. You know, like I want to keep making music as Kunai Chrome, but it's not sustainable. You know, I can't do this forever and be broken homeless. I can't do it. Like, I work two jobs. I have two jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I this shit is, and I'm still broke as fuck. You know, like I be having my money, but I'm still broke as shit. You know what I mean? And I'm doing whatever I can to make it work, and it's still not working, and that's okay. But I can't do this if I don't have a place to live. You know what I mean? Like, I can't be Kunai Chrome anymore if I don't got internet connection. And I can, but I can't. You know? Like, I could, if I was homeless, I could do an open mic. Someone's calling me. We're gonna decline this because I have a video to make. And this video needs to come out. I'll call them back. But I can't do that if I don't even got the backtrack or a charged phone, you know, or a CD or a USB with my backtracks. Like, if I have nothing, I have nothing, you know? I can't do that if I'm done, you know? I could take my guitar with me everywhere and sing all my songs and be homeless, but what happens when my strings break, you know? What happens when somebody breaks my guitar or my guitar just gets broken, you know, or if I lose it or it gets stolen? What do I do then? Do I just go a cappella on everything? It's not interesting. It'll be interesting, but it's not interesting, you know? Not enough to change my situation. And it could, but what are the chances of that happening? And it could, you know, not to like put myself in that situation, but what's the, what's the, what am I doing? You know, I'm not, I'm not here to do this to be a starving artist. Like, this is my passion. This is what I want to do with my life. But I'm not interested in going through all of these trials and tribulations just to be able to sing. But I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop anytime soon just because it's not fucking working out. It's been not fucking working out for the last 10 years. You know what I mean? Like, it's been not working out. And, you know, every time I get close to giving up, I start seeing like this flood of support. And I start seeing like all of this, like, all of these very nice things people have to say. And it's like, I knew these things and people weren't telling me these things, but I always knew them to be true. But now, since I'm like done, it's like, where is all of this? Where are all these beautiful words coming from? You know, where's all of these great things coming from? It's like they've always been true. And I just needed the confidence to fully see that through for myself, which I have more of that. I'm just like, I gotta make this into a career if I want to keep doing this. You know, I can't keep doing it at the level I'm doing it at, and then just act like it's like I'm just doing it for fun, because I am doing it for fun and I would love to keep doing it for fun. But you know, life doesn't allow you to do things like that. And if you do, you end up becoming a deadbeat. You end up becoming a bum. You end up becoming someone who's prioritizing that thing over everything else in their life. And it's like, I'm big on community. I'm big on like being there for my people, my folks, my everything, you know? Whatever it is. I'm big on that. And you can't help nobody if you can't help yourself. And right now, it's getting really hard to help myself. And I just want to find a way to keep it going. And I want to be independent. I want to, like, keep doing this. But, I mean, I've been independent for, like, 10 years, you know? And I'll admit, like, you know, my first album was decent. It was decent. You know, I'll say my first album, Ionian Atoll, which means like forever island, you know. That's what I was thinking when I said that, cuz like an atoll was like a moon-shaped island. If I'm thinking that correctly, that's like the right definition. I can fact check that later. If I'm wrong, someone let me know in the comments. But and an eon is like what, 1,000 years or longer? I'm not sure. But it was like my way of saying forever island. Like, I'm forever on this island of you know, my own self interest. And that album was like what, 9 tracks? And I won't say it's like the poppiest thing. It was weird. It was a weird album, but it was. I can listen to it now, and it still holds up. It still holds up as like music. It still holds up as like something that I if I ran across it myself, I'd be like, oh, this is interesting. You know, it's one of those kinds of things, and it showed me that reaching new levels is almost subjective. Like even when it comes to mixes or it comes to different things, like you can reach a bigger competitive level, but it's like to what standard are you trying to achieve it to? Because if you're doing that, there's a reference to which you're basing what you're doing on. Because if it doesn't, then it means what you're saying really holds no ground. Like if you're like, I'm becoming a better singer, who's your rubric for what a good singer is, or what is your definition of a good singer? Like, is it just somebody who has really good voice control and can hit notes, or is it someone who is really good at expressing what they're saying? Is it all of that? Is it you want to sound like Whitney Houston, or you want to sound like Bob Dylan, or you want to sound like a specific person? It's like, what's your rubric? Is it all of that? And at some point, even if it is, it's like, where in that do you fall? And even if you did get to what you wanted and you still don't think you're good or the best, then who is? Are you just chasing something that doesn't exist? Did you make something up? And that's why it's subjective. It's not like sports, where it's like, I scored 50 points, I'm the best. You know, I won. You scored 49, I scored 50, I'm better than you. You know, it's not like that. And even then, it's like, what is it that you're looking at that you feel like is better than the thing? Like, what was your goal? What was the point of what you were doing? So that's why, like, that's why I think a lot of my stuff isn't like bad. It just needs the right context. And if it has the right context, then it's not bad. Not everything is like that to me though. Some things I can objectively look at and be like, oh, that's ass. That's not good. You know, it's just, and it's still to my rubric. You know, it's still to what I'm grading it to. But to somebody else, it's like, oh, that's everything. I like this. You know, like I love this. This is like my everything. And to me, it's like, this is nothing. I hate this. You know, and I've my for a minute my rubric was like what just getting closer to what mainstream feels like. Not what it sounds like, but what it feels like. It's like in my head the closer to that, because I wanted to have a career. I wanted to be sustainable. You know, I want to keep doing it. So the what better to me means is like getting closer to what is already considered like good, like good enough to make X amount of money, to sell out blah blah blah, to like actually have a working career in music. That is what my rubric was. But somewhere along the way, I didn't know it, but I surpassed that, and I have for a minute. But just because like the social proof isn't there doesn't mean I didn't do what I did a while ago. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that at all. I listen to people who have achieved what I want to achieve, and some of their stuff isn't as good as some of the stuff I have. But also on the flip side, I've made some stuff that's not as good as their stuff, and it's subjective in that way. And also, there are people who have made stuff that's just so far above my stuff. And it's also what I'm looking at. And I'm like, damn, how do I get to that? And I keep moving the goalpost on myself. And it's like, if I'm being honest, like, Lil Pump made millions of dollars. Not to bag on him, not to bag on Lil Pump. Cause you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that's easy, but also for me it is. For me it is. I could make that song, and not in the way how someone who doesn't make music would say that. Not in the way how someone would say, it's like, no, when you did it, that shit was ass. Like, your delivery is ass. Like, you're not trained. You're not good at this. Not yet, anyway. And yes, in a subjective way, but also in a skill way. Like, in a skill curve. Like, what do you call it? A learning curve. You're not there yet, you know? And people would say that about people like Chief Keef, Playboy Cardi, Uzi, Yachty, like just anyone who they felt wasn't good, but in reality actually is pretty good. Like my earlier mention, and it's like, to make something so catchy that it takes over the world by storm like that, it's not easy. Even though there's a whole marketing and promotion and like a bunch of stuff behind the scenes, aside from that, the level of engineering and production that it took to make that, I could do that. I can objectively do that. I can also objectively make something even better. Which brings me to what I'm saying of, I've done what I set out to do. Which is why I'm like, Kunai Chrome isn't over, but I made it to that point. And that's not the baseline of what I'm talking about either. I've already reached the baseline of what needs to happen. Then I can go further and I can go higher. And I'm saying all this because I believe in myself. I'm not saying this because I'm being arrogant. Because those people are still really good at what they do. Some of them, most of them, can still make better shit than me, and vice versa. Not every song is gonna be like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying I'm good and I know it. And just because the social proof isn't there, just because I didn't trick people, or just because I'm not like, trick people is the wrong word, that's harsh. Just because I didn't do the marketing thing all those other years doesn't mean I'm not what I am. And I'm on here sorting through what that means to me on a video because I need to know where my next step is going to be for Kunai Chrome. And I don't know if I want to keep Kunai Chrome stuff on streaming, but I do know I want to leave it on the internet. I do know that work deserves to be heard, for the next person who's like, who sees me when I make it. And it's like, oh yeah, he used to make that stuff. And like, they listen to what that was. And when I have that social proof, people be like, oh yeah, like people rock with this. Like, I want them to know that this is doable. Like this can happen. It's just like, you need to keep working. You need to keep that up. If I was making those projects today, there would be a lot more that went into them because of what I know. But at the same time, if, let's say, like I blew up off of one of those projects, maybe I would feel like I didn't have to. Maybe it would have stunted me. Maybe not. But, I don't know. Something to think about. I know personally, though, that I'm ready to make that step. But there's a lot more I have to do here. There's a lot more I have to do on the Kunai Chrome side of things. And I'm just trying to figure that out. I'm trying to work through it. And, I got to put out content. I got to put out whatever. And, like, when I don't have an idea, the best thing you can do is just put something out. And that's what this is too. This is another way for me to like express myself. I don't want to like do this. I don't want to talk about this to just a friend and it goes nowhere. Like it can go somewhere for me, but you know, what if somebody else is going through something else? Like going through the same thing and they need this. What if they need this video, you know? You might not sit through the whole thing, but it's here. It's here for you, you know? So, yeah. Circle back on it. I'm not gonna stop being Kunai Chrome. Kunai Chrome is my outlet for expression and for practice and for everything else in between. It's my way to where if I want to work with somebody, I can do that and we can get in the same vibes, you know, like the stuff I want to do for my career, it's not going to be so like so all over the place. It might be a little bit cuz that's just who I am, but it won't be like how this is. Like I got Spanish tracks, I got bossa nova tracks, I got rap, I got jazz, I got all sorts of stuff. I got drum and bass, I got jungle, I got country, I got R&B, I got rock, I got all sorts of stuff. And I produced it all, you know? I got albums on albums on albums. I got EPs on EPs on EPs, projects on projects. And it's just what I had to do. It's what I had to do to get better. And even if no one listens to them or cares, it's not my problem. My thing is I just want to keep doing it. And I can't keep doing it if I don't put myself out there or if I don't, you know, make some type of money from this or some type of living from this. So I'm going to answer this call because the video's over. The video's over. It's 22 minutes. We got part 1 and part 2. You know what I'm saying? We out of here. Let's go. I'm a YouTuber, baby.